Hi, I'm Carin Miller. I live in Maryland. I work for the Maryland Center of Excellence on Problem Gambling as one of the peer support specialists. I was so down in the dumps all the time, and I didn't even realize it. And I could have found the help, and I didn't. So I beg people, before it gets too late, before it progresses like mine did, don't live your life spending money that you can't afford and that you're losing time with your loved ones, because they're the most important. My favorite memories are being outside playing, riding my bike, and playing in the dirt with the gravel and stuff like that, so I was a little bit of a tomboy. But I graduated high school, I did some college, and then I started having children in my mid-20s. Between the 4 children, they were all 3 years apart. It was a little chaotic. I certainly wasn't Leave It to Beaver, but we certainly had good times and bad times. My husband was hit head-on by a drunk driver, and after the accident, he got on opiates, and so he had an 18-year opioid use disorder. And that's kind of when my gambling picked up. I was bartender for 37 years, so I was constantly selling gambling products. And it was fun. I would get off work, I would take my tips and I would spend them. And then I won 2 jackpots. And that became my evil money. That became a time in my life where, unfortunately, I went on a frenzy for a decade. So when I would leave the casino or wherever I was gambling, I would always leave feeling so dejected, embarrassed, and mad at myself. I would say, I've got to go back and recoup that money somehow. After I worked my shift at the restaurant, I would go out and buy scratch-offs. I would get my fix by doing the scratch-offs, and I would go home and sit there and mindlessly do that till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd lay down for a couple of hours, and then I'd have to get my kids off to school again. So it was a big, vicious cycle. And I mortgaged our house, and I took out credit card loans, unbeknownst to my husband, so I could deceive him on how much I was spending on my gambling. It was a sad time in my life as well, now that I look back. I would lose, I would get angry at myself and say, I'm never gambling again. And within a couple days, I would forgive myself and I'd say, okay, well, maybe I can go win that money back that I just lost. People say that gamblers lose a lot of money, but we lose time. I lost all that time. Honestly, didn't know that what I had was an addiction. You know, I didn't know that gambling was an addiction. I just knew I had a problem and I knew I didn't care. I remember when I was sitting in the casino parking lot trying to figure out how I could get money into my checking account from my home equity loan, and it wouldn't let me do it on the phone. And so I had to call the banking establishment to say, hey, how do I get some of this money out of there? It took me 45 or 50 minutes to do that, and then I finally could go in and gamble that away. So I knew that that's when I had a problem. If I could go back, I would find resources to help myself. I never did anything like that. I never called 1-800-GAMBLER. I just was on such a selfish path. I did, however, start a nonprofit organization and started helping families. Since I worked the bar at night, I was able to help other families.
I love her for who she is, but she's helped out so many people now. I mean, she's turned her life around and doesn't do the gambling anymore and doesn't, you know, she never was a problem with drugs, but she's been helping people get off drugs and gambling for years. She's helped hundreds and hundreds of people and looking for the next one to heal. And it's pretty impressive, really, when you think about it. She works, I think she works too hard.
Keeps me out of trouble when I work hard. And I'm 5 years in recovery. So being blessed to have that in our lives today gives me the strength to give other people hope. That's why I work for the center. I just am so honored to have this job and to be able to help people because I hurt people, you know, but now I can help them and I can share my lived experience with them and give them hope that gambling is not what it's cracked up to be. Gambling, if you have a problem, you need to seek services, you need to seek resources and treatment if that's what you need, because we can't continue to beat ourselves up for the rest of our lives with an addiction it's not curable, but it certainly is treatable.